Hi, this is Fred Armisen. You're listening to Super Unknown with Dana Distortion.
So that was, it's a band called Flesh Tetris. They're from the UK.
All right.
And they describe themselves as, you're listening to Flesh Tetris, sci-fi Eurotrash pop music for unpopular people.
Ooh.
Really like that.
Yeah.
Really like that. And that song was for fun.
They nail down their audience. They're like, this is who our audience is. It's a good idea.
Right? And they really go for that audience. Like they play all these like really random small spots in London, which is really cool. So next time you're in London, Freddie,
that's what I have to look for.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my show. You know him from SNL and Portlandia, so many films and TV shows. He was nominated for a Grammy for his HBO special, Stand Up for Drummers, and I can't even keep up with all his projects. He's funny, he's different, he's super smart, and he's the busiest man I know. Welcome to the show, Mr. Fred Armisen.
Hi.
Wow, that was a long intro.
Yeah, that was very nice of you. Hearing a list of things is funny because sometimes when I hear it on other shows, like, hey, this person won an Emmy for this, and I'm always like, wow, did they approve someone just talking about all the stuff that they've won? But then...
It's your achievements.
But then when I hear it, I go, oh, that sounds fine to me. I'm like, that sounds accurate enough.
Well, what I also know about you is you're very humble, which is...
I'm so humble.
You really are. It's like...
I don't know about that.
But you are. Sometimes I'm like, Freddie, you're so amazing. You're like, I don't know about that.
Well, humility is a weird thing because, like, even if it appears that that I have humility, I still will do tours and do stand-up shows where my name is up on the marquee and stuff. So, yeah, but there's a sort of egocentric, come on, everyone, show up and listen to me talk.
How will people know that you're doing it if you didn't?
I'm not down on myself about it. It's just a a fact of doing music, comedy, or art. You just have to have, or you should have your name out there.
You like the performances and the fans and the people around you.
I love it. I love it. I do.
So it's a part of it, and I think you should own it because you're awesome.
Yeah.
And I got to say that, doing research about somebody you know is a little creepy. I now know more about you than I ever did, and it's kind of weird. Probably stuff you don't know about you. I hope you're ready for it. So how are you today, and welcome back to New York.
Thank you. I'm doing very well. I'm always happy to be in New York.
So I want to start talking about music that you used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
So you were in a band called KGB and another band called Trenchmouth.
Yeah.
And they were both pretty much punk bands.
They were definitely punk.
And was it like something in where you grew up, or?
There's something about the aesthetic and the celebratory aspect of it that I really was drawn to. There was something about the fact that the lyrics were about things set in reality as opposed to fantasy, which isn't the case for every, all the music I listened to, but there was something about it that felt like when I was in high school wasn't a cliche of what rock music was supposed to be. So it felt a little more, I think I wanted to be a weirdo in high school, and this was the perfect music to be a weirdo.
Was there like a big scene of it at all where you
No,
you
just
grew
a couple of my friends.
Where are we talking about?
Long Island, New York.
There wasn't.
I mean, there was a little bit here and there.
So like you had to be like a misfit to listen to punk?
Yeah. Punk is a weird thing because like even though it has like the sort of, it's accredited to being a kind of music for like the underground. I did grow up in suburban New York, so it's very suburban and middle class. So it's not like we were like out on the streets and
set cars on fire.
No, and I don't have that story of like we could only afford cheap guitars and we stole a drum set. Our parents bought us our instruments, and so we came into New York City. We came into Manhattan to go record shopping, but we were all drawn to punk. Me and my friends. But it didn't come from a political motivation. It wasn't like we need to overthrow everything. We liked the sound of it, but we would listen to Dead Kennedy's records, and they would talk about all these politicians, and I didn't know what they were talking about, but I still agreed.
It sounded right.
It sounded right, and the same goes for the Clash. Like, I love that they sang about politics, and I still believe in what they believe. So I was. I mean, in a way, they sort of formed my political opinions, but it didn't come from my upbringing being like downtrodden. It wasn't from my own like workers' rights. It was my dad was a businessman. He worked for IBM, and so it was just I liked the sound of it. And then
here's a question for you though.
Yeah.
If you listen to punk and you don't agree with what they say, you're kind of in trouble because you really like the music, but you don't like the lyrics. And I feel like with that kind of music, it's like, do you have to agree with them?
No, when you don't agree with something, I'm actually bad at understanding lyrics. Sometimes I don't know what they're saying, and I think that's fine. And when I don't agree, I think that's okay. It's just like, lyrics are just like, sometimes to me, accompaniment for the music. So sometimes I don't know what
So music is more important than the lyrics for you?
The melody is more important than the lyrics. So there are just so many lyrics that for every band that I love that I'm like, I don't even know what that's about, but I'm fine with it.
What kind of kid were you? Were you shy? Were you?
No, I think I was pretty friendly.
You were out there?
I think I was friendly, and I think I was happy. I had a very, we moved around a little bit. We lived in Brazil for a while, and the only unhappiness I had was, I lived in New York, but my parents were immigrants. So all my friends made me feel very welcome. But I think when you're a kid, you always want to be what everyone else is. So everyone in my town, in Valley Stream, Long Island, was like Italian, So I was always like,
what's it be Italian?
Italian American. Yeah. I was like, oh, I want to be that, because they all had this, it was like, that's all the whole town was pretty much that. And I was, my mom's Venezuelan, my dad's German. And it was just very, for me, I felt like I didn't, I just wanted to be that, but no one ever made me feel like an outsider.
You're lucky.
I'm very lucky. But my high school was a good high school. It was a nice place. Everyone, we all had our little groups, but it certainly wasn't like, warfare or anything like that.
Was drums your first instrument that you ever played?
My first instrument, I mean, when I was a kid, I took piano lessons and I took guitar lessons, but drums was like the first instrument that I adopted as like, this is my instrument.
Why drums?
I heard when I lived in Brazil, my mom bought me a Beatles album, and I bought more and more, and then I heard I'm the Walrus. And I was like, there's something about that fill, something about it really definitely sort of said to me, hey, drums are the instrument. And then going through the rest of my life, I was always drawn to the drummer, Keith Moon, Topper Hedden, just Dave Barbarossa. I was always like the drummer. That's always like Stuart Copeland. I felt like
Kind of like the Shield, right?
yeah. There's
People
something.
don't
There's something.
underestimate that.
I like their role. I like drummers' roles in bands. I like that they're
Their roles or rules?
oh both. Oh, we got a good. On top of that, yeah, we got boy. I'm gonna leave that one alone because that was a perfect joke.
Yes, no pun intended.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Yes?
Anyway, so the drummer to me, I always identified with the most.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's surprising. And now we have a very special treat. You know, Super Unknown is all about playing some songs that nobody ever heard before, which I'm very excited about. You brought a demo. Tell us a little bit about it.
So, you know, when we were emailing, you said, you know, do you have anything that's sort of unreleased, something that isn't really out there? And so then I've got these old recordings. First of all, I cannot believe that already there are iPhone recordings that are old. Or something I recorded onto. I think this might have been onto a laptop, but I looked at the year, and I mean, God bless you know, computers for being able to like. There was the year; it's like still written in there. But I recorded something in my apartment, 2007, and I loved it. It was inspired by the guitar player Mary Timony, and it's when I was learning how to do. On a laptop, I was learning how to do multi tracks, just putting something on top of the next. So this is going to sound like it's a loop, but it's not a loop. I wish it was a loop.
It's very George Martin of you.
It's very repetitive, but I always liked it, and it's just one thing over and over again. We don't have to listen to the whole thing, but
Of course
then
we will.
oh, I suggest you don't. It's so repetitive, but
Well, people can meditate when they hear it.
Sure. But it came in handy because way in the future, which is now the past, I had to come up with music for Late Night with Seth Meyers. So there's an opening theme, which is kind of fast, and that's got to be quick and short. But we needed a closing theme, which should be repetitive and sort of, I like the idea that it's a little melancholy. So then I was like, oh, I have this old recording. And so this song is what we currently use as the closing theme for Late Night with Seth Meyers.
That's so
and at one
cool.
time, it was just a weird recording inspired by Mary Timony in 2007. So you know when you record something, and this is to everyone out there, you never know what can happen with a recording. There's a reason your brain is like, I want to record this. Somewhere it's going to be useful. And then it turned out to be useful.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a great story, Freddie. All right, let's hear it. That was great. I loved it.
Thank you. You could watch it every night on Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. That was really cool. So when did you decide to quit music and why?
I had this band Trenchmouth, and around...
And I want to correct myself with the question first, because you didn't really quit music because you are involved in music stuff all the time. So that's actually not correct.
Yeah, but you're correct in a way that there was a time period like late 90s, maybe 96 or 7, where I didn't want to be in a band anymore because we were not getting anywhere. I had ambition and aspirations. I wanted to be a big famous band, and we did okay, but not to the level that I wanted. And all these other bands were becoming really famous, and it was weird. It was a weird time. I was like, this is not working. We are literally not getting anywhere. So I guess, started doing comedy, which had a lot of music in it. But that's like the sort of turning point of going from late 90s of like, I'm done. And then even though music was a part of my comedy, I've never gone back to like music being a serious part of my life.
Which you should, I think.
No, there's plenty of people doing it. There's plenty of people doing serious, great music. That my forte is parody and joke music.
Well, why does it have to be one or another?
Because that's what the audience says. So I don't dictate to the audience. They say we're paying you to do comedy and music, and I go, great. I will. That's an honor.
Can't you be like a comedian and then have a band? I mean, I know.
I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Is it too much to handle? Do you like to focus on one thing?
I don't think that I express myself well playing serious music. I think it's just not in me. I could tell by the speed in which I do it, and I could tell by my patience in listening to mixes. So when I was in a band and we were playing serious music, we would sit in a control room just like this one, and we'd listen to these mixes, and I could not wait to get the hell out of there. It was boring to me. And my ear couldn't tell the difference between mixes. I was like, I don't know. I guess there's drums, bass, we're good. Can we go
So you want
home?
to be around music, but you don't want to be like a full-time musician.
It's not as much time spent. It's my patience for like something being serious and real. For me, if I were to come into like a studio and do a parody of, say, 80s new wave music, we're gonna do something that sounds like the Cars. I'm all about it. Then my ear starts to go, no, actually the drums should sound like this. No, they didn't have leads like that. Then my brain is activated.
But not your own music. Like,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. It's activated more with parody than anything, which is great. I'm very happy with that.
So like, what advice would you give? Like, when do you think somebody should give up? Because I know that a lot of bands have that, question, and it's not the same as you had it. They won't quit because they want to quit. But when should they say, it's not happening, let's move forward?
Oh God, it's so different for everybody. It took me a while, but it's all about control. So like, as I used to book all the tours for my band or most of the tours, and I was all about like the van and our practice space and stuff. But I think when you start to let go a little bit and listen to the world, that's when things can happen. So I didn't take it, the world telling me, hey, your band is not meant to sell 1 million records isn't a negative thing. It was just the world saying, why don't you go this direction a little more? Let's see what's in that door. That's all.
So many people want it so much that they feel like they're not really listening to their destiny.
I think it's different for every person, because for every one of my stories, there's also someone else who stuck to it. And all of a sudden, their 9th album is the one that made them huge stars.
That is such a good advice, actually. You're right.
It's just different for everyone. It's like, I have no idea. All I knew, for me, it was a matter of age. I was early 30s, and I was just like, do I want to get older struggling in a band? It's not a good look, right? if I start going gray.
It's better than being a heroin addict.
Oh, it's better than a lot of things. And by the way, there are people who have a lifestyle right now who are in a band, quote unquote, not making it, who are probably very happy. I'm just saying for me.
Yeah, it didn't work for you.
I had my eye on this thing that was like, I wanted to be Mark Mothersbaugh or David Byrne or people like that. There's a thing I had in my head.
But was it to be famous, or was it because you wanted to make a statement?
Whatever. It's neither, or it's both. It's both. It's not that I want to make a statement. It's that I want to participate. So Beck is another example of that, where like everything he was doing, I was like, that's the way to contribute to society. I love the way he was putting out records, and some of it was on different labels and stuff. And there was something about Beck that I was like, that is a good way to be. So there are many people like that.
Great.
He's great. And so I don't know if the idea behind someone like Beck or Mark Mothersbaugh is fame. It's this other thing. To me, it's like, I see it as like they hosted a great party. And I'm like, oh, I want to host a party too.
Do you host good parties?
I hope so.
Are you a social person? Do you host parties?
No. I mean, I had a party for my 50th birthday.
Oh, I remember that. That was all over the place.
And
pretty cool things going there.
At a
cemetery.
At a cemetery, yeah. But
I wasn't invited.
But how about this is part of that party? It was in LA. In my defense, everyone was invited. It was not like.
I'm joking.
But I'm sort of antisocial, but then social. I think that's a real category. It's like,
I agree.
I love being home alone. I love just being home. But at the same time, my memories, of this weekend, having been at Saturday Night Live, I'm like, it was a very social event and I loved it. So it's like, if it's part of work and I'm supposed to be there and like, hey, we all have to go to this party, then I like it. But then I like being alone.
What's your favorite thing in the world to do?
Cup of coffee in the morning. That's like me at my most peaceful. Like even if I'm traveling, I just like that moment where I woke up, I'm starting to have breakfast and coffee, and that's like the whole day is ahead of me. I love that feeling of like, it's like a little launching pad, but it's calm.
So when we just met, you told me I'm not so funny in real life. We'll never forget that you said that to me. I disagree with that. Do you actually think that?
I don't think I'm. I mean, I enjoy it. Like I feel like if I'm doing something, a laugh is involved. Like there's definitely laughing, but like I'm not a fun person, and I'm not like, let's go on vacation, let's go to the beach, let's go do something fun. That to me, and it's the things that most people find fun are not what I find fun. I like something that feels like an errand. I'm at my happiest if my day is, I've got to go do these errands today. So for me, today is a really fun day because
you're with me.
I'm with you. I was in a rush to get here. And this microphones.
Are you
and
one
stuff
of
like
these
this,
people that set their clock like earlier so they won't be late, or later so they won't be late?
Today is a perfect day in that I've got to be here, then I've got to go to work. This list of things that I have to do is me at my happiest because I like the stress of it. So if today was like, oh, I've got the day off, and wouldn't it be nice to go to the park? That's the part that I can't. I'm not fun.
I don't see you sitting in the park and doing nothing.
Some people really reach for that.
I think what a lot of people don't know about you is that you're very serious. Like you've put a lot of thought into things, and you're very thorough. That's stuff that I know about you that I don't think. Sometimes like people say, he's a comedian, everything's funny, huh? But
no. When it comes to like
it's actually
work
a very
stuff,
hardworking occupation, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. But it's constant. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Like a TV show. Even though Portlandia was a sketch show, a lot of thought had to go into.
And you write this stuff too.
Yeah, so it's like, is this relevant? Is this meaningful? Is this funny? All these things that like.
What's your favorite character that you've ever done?
I did a character on Portlandia. There was like a goth character, and we called them the Weirdos, like a sort of vampire. goth people, and I wish I could be those characters forever.
I love that one.
Thank you.
And you had Danzig on it too. Right?
Danzig was on.
That was so funny.
Huge.
Yeah, you really write a lot about music, and you work a lot with musicians.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very important to you, right?
Yeah, it's very fortunate because, like, we're here at Electric Lady, and I used to come here in high school and stand out front because I knew the Clash recorded here. They weren't even in the building, but I was like, this is where the Clash were. And
I do this till this very day. I sometimes sit outside.
It isn't obviously a legendary place. And then in 2013, I got to do comedy with the Clash here. So all of these things happened through comedy. So that's my gratitude with that is like I can't believe I got to meet them and work with them.
And when you got into SNL, did that come cross your mind? You were like, I'm going to work with all these amazing musicians. Did you think
a little bit?
That?
I had a fantasy that I'd get to work with Prince. And I kind of indirectly did, but not really. I guess I didn't really work with him. I was on the same show as him, but like...
Close enough.
Close enough.
It's better than sitting outside of the show waiting for him.
I was in the building with Prince.
Oh, all right.
Which counts. But
that most people that went to his show were in the same building as him.
Oh, that's true. Or were they? Or is he a heavenly apparition that is in another room entirely?
We will talk about Prince in a second, but before that, I want to ask you, who was the person, the musician that you worked with that was so amazing for you, the number one surprise or...
Danzig's up there, The Clash. Devo is huge. And also, I think on a kind of personal level, Bob Mould was I realized as I got to know him and talk to him that he really had a huge impact on my life, more than I realized. I could feel it as I was talking to him, and I was like, oh my God, this is the guy. So Bob Mould, Jay Mascis, Sleater Kinney. I think, I was a fan of Sleater Kinney. I was obsessed with them, and then I became friends with Carrie, and then ended up making art with her. So that, I would say, was the most, complete, the sort of, real friendship.
Working.
Yeah, and creating things. So I would say that's the most complete version of someone I wanted to work with and then really worked with.
Also, you work with females a lot, which I think is really cool. Do you prefer working with females?
I try not to think about it too much. I'm just drawn to, people who are funny and prolific and someone who I feel like we could, if I could ever work in a group or as a duo, I just, whoever I get along with, I try to go for that.
Let's talk about your love for Prince.
Yeah.
I know you have a Prince room in your house.
I do.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, this is a lot of name dropping, and I'm sorry, but I went to Linda Ramone's house. She was married to Johnny Ramone. They have a rock and roll room. They have a horror movie room, and they have an Elvis Presley room. So I was like, oh, I want to do that, but who am I a fan of? So I just have this extra room. It's like a guest room, and there's all Prince stuff in there. So I just, over the years, because I was such a fan, I've really collected a lot of Prince stuff. And I've got a tambourine.
Do people come and you show them the room when they come over? Or
oh, yeah.
Is it like a hidden?
No, I show them, and I'm very proud of it. And it's got all the in the 90s, I bought a lot of memorabilia, like tour books and stickers and buttons and stuff. So my collection of his music is there. So I have a little CD player. So it's like a little place you could listen to his music, and I try to decorate it in the way that he would have decorated it. So there's not a lot of pictures of him. I try not to make it like that. It's more like a Prince themed room.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now we're going to play a game called Weapon of Choice.
Oh, I like this.
You're not going to like this because you just said you're not a lyrics guy, but
okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to read some lyrics to you, and you will have to tell me if it's Prince or your other favorite band, The Damned.
Oh, I love it.
You think you're going to nail it?
I don't know.
You have
but
3 seconds to name the song or the band. Not the song, but the band.
Wait.
Or both.
But name the band. All right.
I mean, say if it's Prince or The Damned.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready, Freddie?
Yeah.
What you putting in your nose? Is that where
That's
all
Prince.
Correct.
Pop Life.
That was very good. She don't fit in any so-called scene. She don't like going where she's already been. 1, 2, 3.
Damned.
Correct.
All right.
See her tonight. If fools want to dance, let the music play. So much unsung, so much to say.
That sounds like Prince.
The Damned.
Wow.
The Damned. Limit Club.
Wow.
Everybody want to take the stand. Mind your own, motherfucker. Let a man be a man.
Oh, that's Prince. Get Off, maybe.
Days of Wild.
Oh, sorry.
Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, and the next one is feel better when her hand is in it is on the steering wheel. Gonna tell her exactly how I really feel.
Oh, that would be Neither.
Correct. Who is it?
This is Ian Rubbish. And those lyrics are actually written by Seth Meyers.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Will you play us that song, please?
Sure. So this is called Hey Maggie Thatcher, and Seth Meyers, as much as I want to be, I'd love to say that like I came up with this sketch idea. In my last year at SNL, Margaret Thatcher died, and then Seth Meyers came up with this idea that was like, why don't you do a punk who actually supported Maggie Thatcher, which is very unpunk. And Seth came up with the lyrics. He's a great lyricist, and I always thought, I was like, he's kind of like a secret punk. Like he
Really?
really is.
Does not look like it at all.
But maybe that's the idea of punk.
Exactly. I love it.
So he came up with a bunch of lyrics for stuff, and I think he did great. Hey Maggie Thatcher, you're alright. Thanks to you I sleep at night. She's quite astounding. Feel better when her hand is on the steering wheel. Gonna tell her exactly how I really feel. Hey Maggie Thatcher, you're alright. Thanks to you I sleep at night. You keep England safe. You're friends with Ronald Reagan. Let me tell you now, hey Maggie Thatcher, you're alright. Thanks to you I sleep at night. You keep England safe. You're a very special lady.
Amazing. Wow. Let's talk about your very odd decisions sometimes when you go on the red carpet, your outfit decisions.
Yeah.
What is that about, Freddie?
I just, I feel like it's good to come as close to being like John Waters as possible. And I like monsters, so I thought I'll sort of celebrate different monsters, but like in a subtle way, as if they were on the red carpet. Like if Dracula went on the red carpet or Frankenstein went on, they'd still try to dress nicely.
Right. So one time you brought the Freddy Krueger glove.
I did the Freddy Krueger glove and his sweater, but as a tie.
No way. That I didn't know.
Like little subtle. It's like a subtle Freddy Krueger.
Do you try to be different? Do you want to be different?
No, that's a matter of like, it's not even. I don't even believe in like, I've got to be different. It's more like, hey, this might be kind of funny.
Do you feel like you're misunderstood, or do you feel people get you and your humor?
I feel people really get me.
You do?
Oh yeah. No matter how, even though it feels like I'm, heading towards wanting to be underground, everything I've done is like very mainstream in like, in its venue, like Netflix, SNL, HBO, all these like really the most, mainstream.
But you still, I feel like, do a lot of quirky stuff and a lot of quirky characters.
It's like a mix of the two. It's like quirky stuff, but I still get,
I like that mainstream quirky.
Yeah. And also everything I loved was also mainstream quirky. So even though, I was like, I was so into underground music, really, The Clash was on Epic Records or CBS.
Everything's mainstream. That's what
everything,
people don't
and even back then,
is. If somebody listens to it, it's mainstream.
Totally.
I mean,
or if you go to their shows, whoever, it's a huge, theater full of people. I'm like, this is not underground.
Here's a very serious question for you. Why do people associate you with your glasses? I mean, you're wearing black frame glasses. Everybody wears them, and still, it's so you. How did that even? Like,
I have no idea. I think it just...
Even like your show pass is like kind of a character with big glasses.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very iconic to you.
Who knows? I mean, it's just a sort of... it's an easy sort of like little signature.
I remember one time we met and you came with clear glasses. And then one time you came without it, and I felt like I'm sitting with somebody else. Like
I don't know, and it's my
black
eyesight
frame glasses.
They're pretty normal.
I saw a video of you when you just started your career from what festival was it?
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest, exactly. And you were wearing those glasses back then too. You were like 20 something.
Yeah, that was 1998. So I was already 32.
Oh, really?
31, yeah.
12 there.
Yeah.
But even back then, and I don't think you were famous back then, you had these glasses.
Yeah, it's just...
Were you born with them?
No, I didn't start wearing them till around college or after college.
The black framed ones? Or just
black
glasses?
Frames, that sort of came in later even. But I just thought that they were the easiest.
Did they do a Funko Pop character of you yet?
No.
Well, I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they'll have the glasses, so that would be cool. Oh, they will. You know that. Which character of yours would you want them to do beside yourself? Because they do like a set of couple. Which one?
I think, I just played that Ian Rubbish song. I think Ian Rubbish would be a funny one.
Yeah, I like it.
Little spiky hair.
Is it really based on Ian from Echo and the Bunnymen?
No.
No?
It's a mix of like Joe Strummer. It's just Joe Strummer, pretty much.
I love that character. I think it's one of my favorite of yours.
This is Troubles Afoot, A Boy My Age.
9 times out of 10, I hate my best friend. He acts like he's been on Mars. 4 times out of 5, I pinch him and he cries. I flinch and that's when I stop. A boy my age should not be friends with a boy my age. Junior high school, Russell Stage will be a better place. He called my phone. My mom said I'm not home. Don't know when I'll be home again. It isn't fun to lie, but I'd rather die than see his stupid face again. A boy my age should not be friends with a boy my age. Junior high school, Russell Stage will be a better place. And I'd rather feel lonely than nervous or threatened. I'd rather be quiet than say something I'll regret. And if he writes me an apology note, I just might have to stab him in the throat. A boy my age should not be friends with a boy my age. Junior high school, Russell Stage will be a better place. A boy my age should not be friends with a boy my age. Junior high school, Russell Stage will be a better place.
Another interesting thing I read about you, which I didn't know, is that you're a big video game lover.
I like one I like one or two games, but
Which
I really
ones?
love them. Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. But so much so that I got in touch with those people and I said, "Can I please be in the game?"
No way.
Oh, yeah.
What do they say?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Are you in it?
Yeah.
But you're like the last person I would think likes video games.
No, I love it.
But after I heard that,
Yeah.
I had to get you something.
Oh, you did?
You know, I like giving you presents, so can you pass the present, please? I thought you liked this one. And for once, it's not music related.
Where'd you get this bag from?
That's my
Logo.
my brand.
Yeah.
You just know it because I send you all these packages.
I have a lot of Dana Distortion stuff. I got T-shirts. I've got all kinds of stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
is this why you were asking me about my phone?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to rip this.
Rip it! You have so many of this.
Oh, this is so nice. I don't even know what it is yet, and it's so nice.
Yeah, I never know. I always send him presents. I never know if he actually gets them because he never say anything. And then I'm like, Freddie, did you get my present? Ah? So tell everybody what this is.
First of all, you got the right kind, and it's like a video game controller. It's like a sort of Game Boy.
It's an iPhone case that is also...
It's an iPhone. Yes, it's an iPhone case. But if I were to have it facing you, it would look like
a Game Boy.
Yeah.
No, it actually works. You charge the thing and then it has games. Yeah, it has 7 different games. Retro. It has Mario Brothers.
This is so nice. Thank you.
It has Mario Brothers.
Thank
Mario
you.
Brothers and like Tetris and all kind of classics. So I thought...
How does it have the games in it?
Yeah, you charge it with this little cable there. And
Jeez.
there you go. Enjoy. All right, so one night I get a text from you, and
Yeah.
you ask me, do you like Blur?
Mm-hmm.
And I go like, yeah, it's one of my favorite bands. And you're like, me too. Guess what? I'm going to play with them tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
First, I hate you because you didn't give me enough time to hop on a plane and come to that show.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this.
They just got in touch with me to do the song Park Life in LA, but like that song is all about like someone who lives in England. So they were like, make the lyrics your own, you know, so it's not like me doing like a British person, make it about LA. So yeah, I met Damon. Oh my God.
You were very excited. I remember we were texting
I was
and you
so
were
excited,
kind of like,
and I love
can't believe I'm doing this.
I love everything that they stand for and that Gorilla stands for too. Like they really are. I love the way they reinvent themselves, and he's like someone like Beck too, where it's just pure
he's a
art.
Genius.
Those songs are genius.
He's done so much, right?
So much, and
very much like art and
yeah,
and
I really loved getting to meet them, and I was very excited about that.
So I was very upset that you didn't tell me about it earlier.
Sorry.
So I think you owe me. So
I
what
owe
you're gonna
you.
do now on my show
Yeah.
is you're gonna play it for me in karaoke version.
Okay.
The lyrics are gonna pop on the screen in case you forgot them.
Okay.
Confidence is a preference for the habitual voyeur of what is known as. And morning soup can be avoided if you take the route straight through what is known as. John's got brewer's droop, he gets intimidated by the dirty pigeons, they love a bit of it. Who's that gut lord marching? You should cut down on your knife, mate, get some exercise. The people, so many people, they go hand in hand through their park life. Know what I mean? I get up when I want, except on Wednesdays when I get rudely awakened by the dustman. I put my trousers on, have a cup of tea and think about leaving the house. I feed the pigeons, so sometimes feed the sparrows too. Gives me a sense of enormous well-being. Then I'm happy for the rest of the day, safe in the knowledge that there will always be a bit of my heart devoted to it. Oh, people, so many people, they all go hand in hand through their park life. Park life. It's got nothing to do with your Vorsprung, dog technique, you know. Park life. It's not like the joggers that go round and round and round and round. Park life. All the people, so many people, they all go hand in hand through their park life. The people, so many people, they all go hand in hand through their park life.
Yeah.
Wow, they call it easy karaoke.
Thanks to Easy Karaoke for
Karaoke. We
giving
love
us.
you.
That was awesome. See, I have good ideas sometimes.
You always
Not
have good
always.
ideas.
Not always, but sometimes. Do you like karaoke?
Yeah, I like karaoke. It's
Do you go and do it sometime?
once in a while. I feel like less and less. I feel like it's happening in general less and less. There was a time where it was like that was the thing to do, and who knows? Maybe people.
You know
are
that
doing
when
it.
I was in Japan, I took the whole crew of the Rolling Stones to sing karaoke,
Yeah.
and none of them wanted to go. And I was like, "Come on, you guys, we're in Japan.
Yeah.
You got to do karaoke when you're
Yeah.
in Japan." And at the end of the night, they were fighting over the microphone.
Yeah.
So,
I think people they get scared, and then all of a sudden,
you know, this year is my 40th birthday. I think I'm going to do a karaoke party.
when's your
Are
birthday?
you going to come? You'll never come to my birthday.
When is your birthday?
It's in April. You should know that.
Well, now I know it. Wait, April what?
I'm leaving. 19th.
You got to do a real party, because those changes of decades are like really important.
What'd you do for your 40th?
I had a party here in New York, and it was at this bar, but I had a coffin there too.
What's with the coffins on birthdays?
I love coffins. I love coffins. I love
Could
cemeteries.
be cool to be born in a coffin. It's kind of right.
Oh, be cool to be born in a coffin and then die at a maternity ward.
Die in a hospital?
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you die anyway?
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess. Wow. How did we get so dark? Isn't that an album? Whose album is this? It's called
How do we get so
How Did We
dark?
Get So Dark? Yeah, Royal Blood. Correct. Do you like, what do you listen to now?
Currently, I am. What do I listen to right now? What's one thing that I'm really, really liking right now? I'm picturing going on my iPod.
iPod?
Yeah,
Jeez, I'm making fun of your phone. You listen to an iPod?
Yeah, I have it with me.
That is so ancient. Fred.
I know, but that's what I like having my music separate from my phone.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of them being mixed together. I'm like music, for one thing, and then iPod for that. I like Parquet Courts. I like
They're good.
Frankie Rose, Kate Teague, Dive, I guess, DIIV.
All right, they're good. They're New York based, right?
Real Estate. I love listening to Real Estate. They're one of my favorite
Oh, they're very
bands.
good.
Yeah.
What's in store for you? What are you planning next? Because, I think you always reinvent yourself.
We're writing or helping put together Los Spooky Season 2.
Oh, amazing.
We'll shoot that in Latin America somewhere. More
How did
stand-up.
this even, how did you start this one?
I just wanted to do something in Spanish. So I thought, how about something about people who love horror, but Latin America?
Oh, your mom is from Venezuela,
Venezuela,
right?
yeah.
That's how you know Spanish.
Yeah.
Did you speak Spanish at home?
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. Grew up speaking Spanish.
Tell me one thing she used to say to you in Spanish.
Ay, no me digas esas cosas, por favor.
What was
That was, don't say those things if I made like a joke or something.
Oh, that's so cute. Tell me about your parents a little. Did you have a good relationship when you were growing up?
I think so. My dad is half German and half Korean. I thought he was half German and half Japanese, but I discovered recently that he's
Right,
actually...
on a show or something, right?
Yeah. And then my mom's Venezuelan, and she really taught me about, more than music, she taught me about politics. She's very left-leaning and very, I don't know, peaceful and open-minded. And she just taught me a lot about,
Are they art people, your parents?
Yeah. I mean, I used to think they weren't, right? I was like, they don't understand music and I understand music. But then the older I get, I'm like, wait a minute. That record collection was, their record collection was my first record collection, not mine. So they listened to Brazilian music and jazz and Frank Sinatra and stuff. And so I like to, I used to really fancy myself the first person who had like a record collection. It's like, no, they had plenty of records. And so they introduced me to all that stuff and art and movies.
Do they come to your shows?
Oh yeah. And movies. My mom used to bring me to see Charlie Chaplin movies as a sort of
In the theater?
introduction. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I remember The Great Dictator and stuff like that. Like I felt like it was important for her to show me what, and then my mom really got into SNL. So she was...
I thought you were going to say S&M. I'm like, whoa.
I don't think
Mom
she's...
got really into S&M.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I don't think she ever got into S&M.
That's very punk.
It's weird, the mix between punk and S&M. That's like early punk had like some bondage stuff.
It's the handcuffs.
But then it kind of went away. I think like even by the mid 80s.
Because punk is not about violence. It's against violence.
Yeah.
So that's why it cannot be related at all.
I guess somewhere they sort of, discontinued that line. But anyway, so she taught me a lot about also Saturday Night Live. She was really into it. So, and then Howard Stern, she was really into when I was in high school. And so she really opened my mind to a lot of comedy.
How proud were your parents for your Grammy nomination?
Oh, they're very proud. They'll always tell me how proud they are.
Let's talk about it. How cool is that?
It's the best.
Amazing.
It's the best. I really soaked it all up. Every party, they were like, we're doing a Grammy nominees party. Did that. And when they wanted me to, this year vote, I was like, yes. And I voted, and I love it all. I love the Grammy Museum because for some reason, the Grammys made sense to me. There's something about the Grammys that are very like, I love the history of it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's all about records. I'm like, yeah. And
if you could choose Emmy or Grammy, what would it be?
Oh, Grammy.
Definitely, right?
I mean, it's all great, but Grammys are just like, I kept thinking of pictures I'd seen of David Bowie and Paul Simon and John Lennon. Oh, so I picture them, and I just like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Freddie, I know you have to go, so I will sadly.
But listen. We're friends. We know each other. I will see you
I had
soon.
to bring you to the show just because you never have time for me. So I was like, how am I going to see Fred? I'm just going to call him on my show.
It worked.
So I see you.
And I know you don't like to talk about it. But I don't care. But this is staying in this podcast. You are a brilliant photographer. And you refuse to accept the love that goes your way. But I'm not only do I think you're a brilliant photographer, I see your pictures all the time. Online, you were at some show, and then I noticed by the people you attract, all of a sudden I'll see very famous rock stars around, and I'm like they are around because of not only your charm but your talent. So let this go out there into the world that you are a brilliant photographer. That I think that's what brought you into this studio.
Thank you so much, Freddie.
So I'm going to say that.
No, really, I want to thank you not just for being who you are. I think you're one of the most, the smartest and most inspirational people to me. You're being such a great mentor and such a great friend to me. Beside you being so brilliant and really you're so humble. Like Fred, I think emailed me. How did we become friends? He emailed me years ago and I was like, Fred Armisen, what? I'm like, is that really you? Mm-hmm. And that's just shit you do. It's like you don't have any. You're very humble. And you don't like talking about that. Mm-hmm. But you're just like this person who would just do stuff. You do stuff, and you're so inspirational to me. You always do different things, and you really, really inspire me. And thank you for all your amazing advice all over the years and your friendship.
No, thank you.
You're a beautiful person, Freddie.
The feeling is mutual.
I love you very much.
I love you very much.
Mwah, mwah,
Mwah,
mwah.
mwah, mwah.
All right. Thanks for being on my show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Electric Lady, for hosting us. This was a very holy experience for us, wasn't it, Freddie?
Yeah, I loved it.
And I hope you'll come back in another season.
Yes.
Maybe we should do something with The Clash. We'll see.
It can happen.
Putting it out there.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another song?
You want me to do another song?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a quickie. I'm going to do... there was a fake band called Blue Jean Committee that we did for Documentary Now. Ooh, that sounds nicer. It's like a 70s easy listening band with Bill Hader. And this is called Catalina Breeze. DB says he got them high-class blues. Said the caravan to Aruba is not the road that you would choose. A barstool intellectual with a master's degree in small talk and going to the movies. Catalina Breeze, Catalina Breeze. The daytime party flowed with champagne-filled coconuts. Seems the Grand Marshal liked your point of view. Your philosophy's a taken from a high-class magazine and going to the movies. Catalina Breeze, Catalina Breeze. Catalina Breeze, Catalina Breeze.
Beautiful.
All right.
I really think you should do a real tour sometime. I really do.
Of
You
what?
should. Music. Bring, bands that you were...
I'll do that someday.
You should do it.
Yeah.
So thanks for being on my show, Freddie.
Thank you.
And for
Thank
many
you for
more
thank you for my
for
gift.
many more years of friendship and music.
Yeah.
I want to thank the beautiful people of Electric Lady. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you, John Rooney and Asaf Spector. Thank you, Audra Lacey, for being my co-producer and right arm. Thank you, Fred Armisen. Cheers, everybody. See you next time.